Welcome to Somali Nexus, where we celebrate the brilliance of Somali heritage. And today, we take a journey through time. In this episode, we'll explore the incredible ingenuity of Somali nomads, people who have survived and thrived in one of the harshest environments on Earth. The Somali Peninsula, with its arid plains and unpredictable weather, posed challenges that could have easily overwhelmed less resourceful societies. Yet, the ancient Somali nomads turned these very challenges into opportunities, showcasing the power of innovation. From their mobile homes, the Aqal Soomaali, to their mastery over water management and sustainable pastoral practices, Somali nomads engineered solutions that were not just practical, but genius. Their technology was built on efficiency, adaptability, and a profound ecological knowledge that ensured survival in a constantly shifting environment. They didn't rely on permanent structures or heavy machinery. Instead, they developed ingenious tools and practices that allowed them to move with the land, making sustainability their greatest strength. In today's episode, we'll uncover how these innovations, rooted in necessity, created a resilient society that lived in harmony with its environment. You'll hear about their mobile homes that could be assembled and transported by camel, their water harvesting systems, and their innovative food preservation techniques that ensured survival through the driest seasons. These ancient solutions, often overlooked, carry timeless wisdom that speaks directly to the challenges we face today. Stay tuned as we explore the deep connection between Somali nomads and their environment, and how these innovations offer lessons that are more relevant now than ever. And don't forget to subscribe and share this episode with those who might appreciate these insights. Ready to dive into the story? Let's begin. Okay, here's a thought. What if the most advanced technology, wasn't a microchip or some huge skyscraper? What if it was something as, seemingly simple as a portable home? Or maybe a meal that keeps perfectly for like a year without a fridge? What if real innovation wasn't about conquering nature, but more like dancing with it?
That's a fascinating starting point.
Well, today we're doing a deep dive into the incredible world of ancient Somali nomads. These weren't just people surviving. They were actually thriving in one of the toughest environments on Earth.
Are they challenging?
Yeah. Our guide for this is some amazing source material, nomadic innovations, ancient Somali ingenuity, and survival. And it reveals this surprising kind of genius, one deeply rooted in this incredible ecological understanding.
I'm a spiritual, you could say.
Exactly. So our mission today is to unpack the core principles that really guided them, and hopefully dig up some nuggets of knowledge that might reshape how we think about technology and resilience today.
It's really compelling, isn't it? Because we're often conditioned to think of technology as, complex machines, big permanent structures dominating the landscape, or just the latest phone. That makes things easier.
Right? The newest gadget.
But these sources, they really push us to step back, to consider a totally different, but I think equally sophisticated definition of innovation. One built on, radical efficiency, amazing adaptability, and this really intimate, almost symbiotic connection with their surroundings.
Symbiotic. That's a great word for it.
Yeah. So this deep dive, it's kind of a shortcut for you, the listener, to understand how a culture that might look simple by our standards actually developed these incredibly advanced, elegant solutions. Solutions that still resonate today with the challenges we're facing.
Like sustainability, resource management.
Precisely, and building resilient communities. Their ancient wisdom gives us a pretty strong argument to reconsider what true progress really looks like.
Okay, let's dive in then. Let's unpack this and start with the setting, because you really need to picture this place. Imagine somewhere. Survival isn't just a given. It's an art form perfected over millennia. That's the Somali Peninsula. It's starkly beautiful, no doubt, but also just incredibly demanding. Day in, day out. A real crucible.
You've nailed it. The sources paint this incredibly vivid, almost visceral picture. We're talking vast arid plains stretching out, seemingly forever, turning into semi-desert scrublands.
Not exactly lush.
Not at all. It's not just dry. It's an environment that really tests human ingenuity, human endurance. And water? Well, water is the key. It's not just scarce. It's fundamentally unpredictable.
Right? Unreliable rainfall.
Completely. You might get these torrential downpours really brief, And nothing long, parched dry spells. Add the scorching sun beating down relentlessly. It dictates the entire rhythm of life, demands constant vigilance, meticulous planning, and yet incredibly ingenious solutions.
And no permanent rivers, he mentioned.
Crucially, no reliable rivers meandering through, so the entire nomadic way of life was absolutely tied to those seasonal rains. And the temporary water sources. They created pools, replenished aquifers. It demanded absolute mastery of survival. It really became an art form, a science passed down through generations. Just meticulous observation, constant adaptation.
Imagine having to read the land, the sky, the animals, just to find your next drink every day.
Exactly.
So it's in this intense environment, this crucible, that these three core principles sort of emerge. Not just rules for getting by, but really born from absolute necessity. They became the framework for living.
Yes, and they go beyond just practicality. They represent this deep, almost philosophical understanding of how to live with nature's unpredictability, not fight against it. The first one, absolutely fundamental, was efficiency as a mantra.
Efficiency, okay.
In a place with so few resources, waste wasn't just frowned upon, it was unthinkable. Not an option. Every single tool had to do multiple jobs. Every bit of material, hide, grass, whatever, used to its absolute fullest down to the last scrap.
Nothing wasted.
Nothing. And every bit of energy spent, human or animal, had to be carefully weighed, justified, optimized. This idea, this radical efficiency, it wasn't just about saving time. It shaped everything.
Like their homes, food.
Absolutely. The layered design of their portable homes, the sophisticated ways they preserved food for ages. It fostered what we'd now call a circular economy, long before we had the term.
Right. Everything had value, a purpose.
Everything, like a single leather strap, might secure part of the home, then be used to carry water, maybe even act as a leash for a young camel later. Incredible versatility.
Okay, so efficiency is number one. What came next?
Hand in hand with that efficiency was adaptability as a way of life.
Makes sense, given the environment.
Exactly as we said, it was constantly changing. Shifting seasons, unpredictable rains. Vital grazing lands could just wither away in weeks.
So staying put wasn't really an option.
Impossible. A static, settled life? No way. Their entire society, their material culture, it was all engineered for portability, built around the need to move.
But it wasn't just random wandering, right?
Not at all. It was highly strategic. Calculated responses to environmental cues. Our sources call it a dance with nature rather than a fight against it, which I think is beautiful.
That is beautiful. A dance.
They moved to find water, obviously, but crucially to find fresh pasture for their livestock. That was the lifeline, their ability to pack up entire communities, the rear, and move them quickly with minimal fuss. That was central to survival, to prosperity, to resilience.
So everything had to be flexible, ready to go.
Everything. Every possession, every structure, every system. Fluid, flexible, ready to move at a moment's notice. Imagine the mental map. You'd need generations of knowledge plus reading the immediate science to know exactly where to go next.
Wow. Okay, efficiency, adaptability. What's the third leg of the stool?
The third, anchoring it all, was incredible resourcefulness tied to this intimate, almost encyclopedic ecological knowledge.
So, seeing the desert not as empty, but full of solutions.
Precisely, not a wasteland, but a living library, a repository of solutions. If you knew how to read it, how to listen. And this wasn't, primitive survival instinct. Far from it. It was a really sophisticated system of knowledge passed down orally, generation after generation. A living library of ecological wisdom.
Can you give some examples?
Sure. They knew exactly which trees like the durwa, an acacia, or the higlow gave the best wood, strong but flexible for their home frames. They knew which plants had medicinal properties, how to prepare them. They could read the subtlest signs in the land, a bird's flight, a specific flower-blooming animal tracks, to find hidden water, even where it seemed impossible.
That's incredible.
And they managed their herd sustainably. Rotational grazing, long before academics talked about it. They understood that balance, preserving the ecosystem that sustained them.
So it wasn't just scraping by.
Not at all. They were building a resilient, enduring civilization against staggering odds, all thanks to this deep, deep understanding. These innovations were the foundation of their culture, their society, their identity.
It really makes you think, not just surviving, but building something lasting. Okay, this is where it gets really fascinating for me. Their homes, the Aqal Somali, this feels like the ultimate expression of those principles.
Absolutely, and to call the Aqal Somali, or Dagon, as it's also known, just a hut or a tent. Well, that really misses the point. It misses the brilliance. Our sources are clear. It's a masterpiece of mobile architecture. Full stop.
Mobile architecture. I like that.
It's not just a structure, it's a portable, sustainable, and surprisingly comfortable home, perfectly engineered for that life of constant strategic movement. It embodies efficiency, adaptability, proves that sophisticated design doesn't need complex materials or permanent foundations.
Its elegance is in its simplicity and function.
Exactly, perfectly tuned to the environment.
And what's really striking is who were the engineers here? It was the women, right?
Predominantly, yes. The construction, the maintenance, and crucially, the transport of the Aqal. That was traditionally women's domain. They weren't just living in it. They were the engineers, the architects, the keepers of this essential technology.
That's a crucial societal role often overlooked in innovation histories.
It really is. It speaks volumes about their social structure, the value placed on these skills, this knowledge.
So let's get into the nuts and bolts, the materials, the design.
Okay. The structural frame was genius, made from long, pliable poles, often from those specific trees we mentioned. Durwa, or higlo, chosen for their unique mix of strength and flexibility. They could be bent into that distinctive dome shape without breaking, forming this stable, interconnected frame, almost like a basket.
And the dome shape wasn't just for looks.
Not at all. It was inherently aerodynamic. Low-profile, curved surfaces designed to deflect those strong winds you get on the open plains. Kept the home stable, secure.
Smart, and the covering? The kabod.
Ah, the kabod. These weren't just blankets. They were intricately woven mats made from tough sisal grass fibers, or other hardy local plants. The weaving itself was a specialized skill, passed down, incredibly time-consuming, resulting in mats so tight they were practically waterproof.
Wow.
But here's the real genius, the climate control. They applied these mats in layers.
Layers? How did that work?
It was incredibly sophisticated. A natural climate control system. During the day with that scorching sun, those multiple layers of tightly woven mats acted as amazing natural insulation. Blocked the direct heat, kept the inside surprisingly cool. You'd feel the temperature drop as you went in.
And at night, when it gets cold in the desert,
Same layers worked in reverse, trapped the body heat generated inside, making it warm, cozy. And they could adjust ventilation, leave gaps between mats, lift certain ones, controlling airflow based on wind and temperature.
that's brilliant. Like natural insulation and air conditioning, but using only local materials.
Exactly. A powerful testament to their understanding of physics, materials, their environment. No textbooks, no blueprints needed, just deep ingrained knowledge.
And this efficiency carried through to actually building and moving them.
Absolutely. The logistics are truly remarkable. A coordinated team of women, those engineers, could put up an entire Aqal in just a few hours.
A few hours. That's fast.
Incredibly fast. Poles driven in a precise circle bent inwards tied off to form the dome. Then the kabod match, skillfully draped and secured with fiber ropes. Doorway always facing away from the wind, often with a special decorated mat as the door.
And leaving no trace behind.
That's another incredible part, completely biodegradable. When they moved on, the Aqal vanished back into the earth. Minimal footprint, deep environmental consciousness built right in.
But the moving part, how did they transport an entire house?
That's the logistical marvel. Dismantling was just as quick as assembly. Mats rolled up, poles bundled, then everything loaded precisely onto a burden camel, using a special wooden framework called a hare.
A hare.
Yes, ingeniously designed to fit securely on the camel's back, and crucially distribute the weight perfectly. The weight of the dismantled home, cooking gear, water containers, everything. One camel could carry the entire household.
One camel for a whole house and belongings.
One camel.
Imagine that your entire village, your rear packed up, moved 4 fully functional again, maybe miles away, all within a day.
That's logistical genius. That, frankly, most modern cities couldn't dream of matching.
It really highlights that efficiency, that adaptability, the organizational brilliance, makes you question our attachment to permanence.
It really does.
Okay, so homes master the next critical challenge, maybe the most critical, sustaining life, water, and food.
And this brings us to that crucial question. How do you manage sustenance for a whole community in an environment defined by scarcity? Finding water wasn't just a chore. Our sources say it was the central organizing principle of their society.
Dictated everything: migration, social relations,
Even political structures between clans. And food security naturally was tied to the health of their livestock, which needed water and grazing. The innovations they developed for these two resources, they show incredible foresight, collaboration, and that deep ecological wisdom again.
and their water harvesting wasn't primitive, you said.
Far from it. Sophisticated systems for finding, collecting, preserving water.
Like the barrage, the plural of Burkett. The reservoirs?
Exactly. The barrage or berked in plural. These weren't just holes, they were engineered reservoirs dug strategically in natural depressions or at the end of seasonal water channels. The goal to maximize rainwater collection during those brief intense rains.
How were they built?
Major communal effort. Simple tools, shovels, picks, baskets. The inside meticulously lined with clay, compacted tightly, often by foot, to stop seepage. Some even covered with branches to reduce evaporation. Under that fierce sun, a vital detail.
And access was regulated.
Yes, through complex customary laws. The hair ensuring fair distribution, preventing conflict, outlining rules for maintenance. Cleanliness shows real social organization and foresight.
Beyond reservoirs, they could find hidden water too. Sounded almost like divination earlier.
More science than magic, really.
Yeah,
Rooted in generations of observation, they had this incredible ability to identify deep aquifers just by looking at specific plants thriving nearby, even if the water was deep down.
reading the signs.
Reading the signs exactly. Subtle landscape cues, soil color, animal behavior. Then they dig these deep, narrow wells, the seal through soil and rock to reach the groundwater. Hard work, often collaborative.
Lifelines, essentially.
Total lifelines, often owned and maintained by specific clans or families. And they became social hubs too, places to gather, share news, reinforce bonds crucial in a mobile society.
Okay, water covered. Now their livestock, camels, goats, sheep, you said it was more than just herding. It was like environmental management.
That's a key point. They knew the health of their animals depended totally on the health of the land. They practiced rotational grazing, a model of sustainability even by today's standards.
Moving the herds constantly.
Constantly following rainfall, fresh growth prevented overgrazing, allowed vegetation to recover. It wasn't just practical, it was deep ecological understanding woven into their life. Maintaining ecosystem health while supporting themselves. Partnership, not exploitation.
And the animals themselves were bred for this. The Somali camel is famous.
Legendary, really. A prime example of their masterful animal husbandry. Bred for its incredible ability to go weeks without water, tolerate dehydration. It thrives on thorny scrub other animals can't eat, perfectly adapted.
And provided milk, transport.
Exactly. Highly nutritious milk, a cornerstone of the diet. And as we saw with the Aqal, the primary transport, the ship of the desert.
What about goats and sheep?
Also vital meat, milk skins equally tough, able to survive in arid conditions. Added diversity, resilience to their herds. So it wasn't just having animals. He was cultivating this deep symbiotic relationship. Animal health depended on land health, a holistic approach.
And in that boom and bust environment, preserving food must have been absolutely critical, especially without refrigeration.
Their preservation methods are truly ingenious, showing incredible foresight. The most famous is probably odka or mukmad.
The preserved meat.
Yes, a way to keep meat, usually camel or goat, edible for months, even up to a year, without spoiling, even in the heat.
How did they do it?
Carefully cubed meat, slowly fried in its own rendered fat. often clarified in the ghee or sobug until totally dried and browned. Then the cooked meat went into a container, wood or leather, usually, and the hot liquid fat was poured over, completely submerging it.
Creating an airtight seal.
Exactly. As the fat cooled and solidified, it sealed the meat off from air. Bacteria, decay. Vodka was high energy, protein-rich, lightweight, portable, perfect for journeys or crucial during long, dry seasons.
The ultimate ancient emery. Complete meal, keeps forever. Easy to carry.
Pretty much. And they had similar wisdom for milk. A staple that spoils fast.
Right. How did they manage milk?
Well, fresh milk was drunk daily, but they often processed it. Fermentation was common, turning it into a yogurt-like drink. Ano garowar, extended shelf life. Plus, beneficial probiotics, easier digestion. Tangy, refreshing, milk was churned for butter, then clarified into subag like vodka. It's stored for ages. A vital source of fat and calories. Used in cooking, valuable for trade. These techniques weren't just about stopping hunger, they were key to a resilient food system, providing security in an unpredictable world, year-round, stability.
Okay, so beyond the big things like homes and food, their everyday lives were full of this minimalist design. Maximum function idea too, right? Tools, crafts.
Absolutely. The brilliance is right there in the daily objects. Things that seem simple to us but are exquisitely engineered. In a mobile culture with limited resources, no room for anything extra. Every tool, container, piece of clothing, minimalist design, maximum function, crafted with amazing skill from local materials.
And artistry too.
Definitely not just utility. Often intricate carvings, decorations, personal or clan identity woven right into the objects. A subtle visual language.
Their toolkit was small but versatile. You said like the Bila-O dagger?
Yes, the Bila-O or Balawa or Jai La. Often a man's primary personal tool. Distinctive leaf shape, double-bladed weapon.
But also a multi-tool.
Primarily a multi-tool, actually. Yes, for self-defense if needed. But daily use, butchering animals precisely. Cutting wood, carving other tools. Skinning. Opening gourds. Countless tasks. The design was perfected for that versatility. Sharp point for piercing, wider blade for slicing. Efficient handle, often wood or horn. Shaped for grip, sometimes adorned. Embodied that philosophy. Versatile, efficient, compact.
And the barkin and headrest seem so simple, but so essential.
The barkin is a perfect example. Simple object, huge functional and cultural meaning. Crucial for life outdoors. Sleeping on the ground elevated the head for comfort. Sure, but more importantly, protected from ground insects, ants, scorpions. Real hazards.
Protected hairstyles?
Yes, intricate braided styles were common, men and women. The barkin kept them intact during sleep, carved from a single piece of dense wood. Often from the dabayar tree, highly personalized, often with geometric patterns, landmarks. Lightweight, durable, easily carried, elegant solution to a common problem.
What other tools? Spears, axes?
Yes, the spear for hunting defense. Often iron-tipped axes for heavier wood tasks. All designed with that same focus. Utility, durability, portability.
And leather was everywhere. Clothing, shelter parts?
A cornerstone material. They were expert tanners, using acacia bark, other natural tannins. Processed hides from their animals, goat, sheep, camel. Not a quick job soaking, scraping, stretching, using oils. Made supple but incredibly tough leather.
What did they make from it?
So much tough sandals. Cab for trekking on rough ground. Resilient bags. Sibid for carrying goods, personal items, and even waterproof vessels. Meticulously stitched leather sealed with pitch or resin, specifically for carrying precious water. Shows amazing material understanding, often beautifully embossed too.
And the han, the woven milk container. That sounded fascinating. Artistry and science.
The han really is a marvel, woven from specific grass and root fibers. Incredibly tight patterns, so dense it becomes remarkably waterproof, durable.
And they cleaned it with smoke?
Yes, using smoke from fragrant woods like zakar or frankincense. Disinfected the container, ensured hygiene, but it also imparted this pleasant aroma, subtle flavor to the milk.
But the cooling effect, how did that work?
Ah, the science bit. The porous nature of the weave, even though waterproof, allowed tiny amounts of moisture to wick through. As that moisture evaporated from the outer surface, it drew heat away from the milk inside. Evaporative cooling.
Like a natural fridge?
Exactly. Keep milk fresher for longer in the heat? Brilliant. Natural refrigeration. And they were works of art too, decorated with shells, cowrie, beads, leather, symbols of wealth, status.
Their knowledge went beyond building and eating, though. It was about healing, too. Their medicinal innovations sound incredible.
It becomes clear they were essentially master chemists, master botanists. A sophisticated system of healthcare, all from their surroundings. A huge pharmacopoeia from local plants, animals. Knowledge passed down orally, generation to generation. Not guesswork, but observation, experimentation, accumulated wisdom.
And they use frankincense and myrrh medicinally, not just for trade or incense.
Far more than that. Yes, valuable for trade, but crucial in medicine. Harvested from local boswellia and commiphora trees. Recognized for powerful antiseptic, anti-inflammatory, analgesic properties. Frankincense, clean wounds, crushed powder, or in poultices. Prevented infections, sped healing. Myrrh relieved pain, treated infections, reduced swelling.
What else did they use?
So much aloe grew wild, used for burns, skin issues, digestion, countless leaves, roots, barks from trees like gob. Prepared expertly for stomach problems, fevers, even snake bites, parasites. They knew which parts to use, how to prepare them. Infusion, poultice powder, often the right dosages. Deep ethnobotanical knowledge.
A critical innovation for community health, far from modern medicine?
Absolutely, relying entirely on the natural pharmacy around them.
Okay, so we've explored all these amazing innovations. What does it all mean for us now, thousands of years later? These can't just be historical curiosities.
No, absolutely not. When you step back and look at the big picture, these nomadic innovations offer profound, really timely lessons for us today. For a global society grappling with huge challenges. Climate change, resource depletion, the need for more resilient communities. Their relevance hasn't faded. If anything, it's more urgent now. Their wisdom offers a powerful counter-narrative to some of our modern approaches.
And it's not just ancient history, right? It's a living heritage in Somalia today.
Very much so. These aren't just museum pieces. Pastoralism, despite modern pressures, is still vital economically and culturally. For millions, the principles of herd management, mobility, sustainable grazing, direct descendants of that ancient wisdom are still practiced.
The Aqal is still used.
In rural areas, yes, by nomadic families. Its design is still perfect for that mobile life. Traditional medicine using that botanical knowledge is often the only healthcare available in remote areas, still proving its value.
A new pack.
Still made, valued as a delicacy and practical food. These aren't quaint traditions. They're enduring solutions, still serving people's needs. Timeless efficacy.
Which brings us to the lessons for the wider world. Sustainability is the big one.
Definitely. In an age of climate crisis and resource depletion, their model is compelling. Theirs was inherently a circular economy, nothing wasted. Biodegradable homes, tools from renewable resources, minimal ecological footprint. They understood innately that human prosperity is linked to environmental health, a lesson our industrial societies are only now painfully starting to relearn.
Partnership with nature, not dominance.
Exactly.
And that resilience through mobility and adaptability that feels so relevant with all the uncertainty we face now.
Strikingly relevant. Extreme weather, economic shocks, rapid change. Flexibility and responsiveness are key to resilience. They built their whole society around it. Systems easily moved, reconfigured. Contrast that with our often rigid, centralized infrastructure. Impressive, yes, but often brittle, vulnerable to disruption. Their model shows flexibility. Decentralization can be a huge strength.
And ultimately, it really makes you rethink what technology even means, challenges our assumptions.
It's a powerful call to reevaluate. We tend to equate tech with electronics, machines, complex infrastructure. The Somali experience reminds us the most sophisticated technology might also be the simplest, most efficient, most in tune with its environment.
It's the deep knowledge, the elegant design, the wisdom to live within limits.
Yes, that deep ecosystem knowledge, the elegant design of a portable home that breathes with the land, the wisdom to live within natural limits, not try to conquer them. That generational wisdom is a form of high tech we're only now starting to appreciate.
This deep dive has really shown, I think, that ingenuity isn't just about what we build on nature, but how skillfully we integrate with it. So, you, our listener, are now equipped with this whole new perspective on innovation, rooted in ancient wisdom, but feels incredibly relevant today.
And it leaves us with an important question, doesn't it? For all of us, in our constant search for more complex high-tech solutions, what simple, elegant, harmonious technologies might we be overlooking in our own lives, our own communities, maybe even our own backyards? Technologies that could offer profound, sustainable benefits.
Here's a final thought to chew on. If your entire home, everything you owned, had to be packed up and moved by a single camel tomorrow, what innovations would you prioritize? What would you truly value most to ensure your survival, your well-being?
Thank you for listening.